Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Coffee, Tea, You and Me. This is Coach Powell. Having a good time with you guys today. We're going to have an amazing, amazing program today. As always, we're going to be introducing some wonderful new things to you all. As we get into our topic today, we're going to be talking mostly today about listening and listening up. And for those of you who have been following all of the work that I've been doing over the many years, when I created the 9 steps to masterful relationships, which you will find a link to in the chat today, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, don't worry about it. I'm going to put that information in the chat because I know LinkedIn doesn't allow you to do live chat when you do live streaming, at least from the platform that I'm using right now. So I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to get a copy of the 9 steps to mastery, which is what we'll be talking about for the next couple of weeks, is the first 3 steps in the 9 steps to mastery. The first step to beginning to create a magical, powerful network, a network that you don't have now, that you need to have for the future, is about following the steps, following the first 3 steps on the rung that ladder to maximum trust. And if you look at the first illustration in the 9 step to mastery program, it is an illustration of the 9 steps, right? So going from the bottom rung to the top rung, and it's a step rung on a ladder, and the ladder moves you through your professional relationships through the know me, like me, trust me process. And so you can systematically, sequentially move through these steps so that you can get to a maximum amount of trust where the maximum amount of leverage and opportunity actually exists with people. Now, with people that you want to bring into your inner circle, you actually want to get through all 9 steps. But that doesn't mean for people that you just want to start developing a relationship with now. That doesn't mean the first 3 steps are really the magical part. If you can get through those first 3 steps with any new relationship you have or reinvigorating an old relationship, I promise you, you're going to be much more successful at creating a professional relationship that can then be used in one way or another. And I want you to think about it. We all have resources to share with one another. And there are certain resources that you're going to need to have to get you from where you are now to where you want to be in your future, no matter where that future is. And so you're going to have to leverage resources that other people have the ability to get to. You're going to have to be able to leverage other people's time, other people's talent, other people's treasure, and other people's trust. And we're going to systematically begin over the next couple of weeks to teach you how to create that leverage. In fact, create the reason for that leverage and the ability then to execute on what you need to execute so that you can create the future that you imagine, the thing that you want to have, hopefully one that makes you happy. I can't promise you that you're going to be happy. I can promise you this: if you practice creating the environment that promotes and creates happiness, then you're gonna have more of an opportunity to actually be happy. And the science is in on this one. You know, all the social psychologists today are starting to report that they're finding in all their research and all their different types of research, they're finding that, you know, happiness precedes success and not the other way around. You can't just be successful and then figure out how to be happy. It's kind of doesn't work that way. Happiness is what you need to have, you need to be. And then when you achieve success, that success cannot just be a temporary thing, but it can be something that can be sustainable. So that's super important when you think about all the things that we're creating when it comes to building your network. You want to create a network that has the environment inside of it that helps to embody enjoyment, satisfaction, peace, happiness, harmony, balance, all those things you want to have in your life. So we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to get right into the topic. This is going to be super exciting. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad some of you have logged in. If you haven't already, put your information in the chat. Tell us where you're coming from, how you met us, anything you want people to know about yourself or your business. Put that information in the chat. Today's topic is listening up and why it's important, how it's important, and how to go about doing it. And if you want to take a sneak peek, go ahead and grab the 9 steps right off the chat if you can, whether you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, and you can start to browse through the illustration. We're going to get through the first couple of pages. Okay, we will be right back after these messages. I love that little illustration with the coffee cup and all that stuff. This is Coffee Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell. My job, when it's all said and done, is to help inspire and create an environment of opportunity for as many small business and entrepreneurs as I possibly can. Every Friday, I've been coming together doing this show, making sure that we have every opportunity to communicate with each other, discuss with each other, meet with each other, share with each other. And this is a business-friendly zone. So I want all of you to know, whenever you have a business opportunity or something that you want people to know about, go ahead and put that information in the chat. We don't want you to feel, we don't want you to hold back. We don't want you to hide your light under the bushel. We want you to let your light shine. Whatever you got going on, you want to share something with us, you want to talk to us about it, let us know. In fact, I've already put my next upcoming business conference is in there. We got a few scholarships available for those of you who might not be able to afford it. So definitely talk to me about that. In fact, let me put my information in the, let me get my stuff here so you can see how to contact me. If you need to contact me in some way, shape, or form, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever other contact messages you have. But I also want to share this with you. Bingo. Oh, look at that. There's the scroll. So you can find me in many different ways. People call me the 9-step guru. They call me Coach Powell. They call me idiot. I answer to all of it. It's really not a big deal for me. I want to make sure that people are taken care of. That's the most important thing to me, not my big head or my ego. And so we're trying to make sure that we create tools and we create opportunities for people to share what they know with one another, and to create opportunities for one another. And if you have a chance to attend the Leverage Up conference, oh my God, it is an opportunity of the lifetime. I have to say, I've created a conference that I think not only am I super proud of, but so many other people are super proud of it as well, including the people who get to be the panelists. I try to use real life entrepreneurs as panel members. When you're talking about things that matter to us in business, but the things that we don't often get a chance to talk about. We'll be talking about some of the new political advancements that have been made for small businesses that we have to take advantage of and look at and understand. We'll be talking about the economic opportunities that are out there for us. Again, things that we should take advantage of, things that we should keep in front of us, never forget and continue to look at. We'll also be talking about the social advances out there, the technological advances, the advances in the law, the legal systems, and then the ecosystem in and of itself. You know, how do we fit into the ecosystem? So we'll be sharing a lot of information about Bitcoin and all of the natural products and all of the things that we have to do to organize our lives and ourselves so we can reach a level of wellness and success in our small business endeavors. It's hard out there for small businesses. So I encourage you, if you're not coming to the conference, you know, that's fine. Make sure you tell everybody you can tell about the conference. Grab that link and post it in your own social media feed. Post it on your LinkedIn, post it on your YouTube accounts. Share with as many people as possible. It's very inexpensive, especially if you get an early ticket. If you don't get an early ticket, unfortunately, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. Because I priced this so that you really have no excuse. But I also wanted to make sure you have incentives to get your tickets now while you can. So it's out there, it's ready to go. The conference, the panelists are excited, they're ready to go. They're doing a great job already of just honing different messages. And we're going to bring, every quarter we do this, but we bring new ideas to the fruition. And as the world around us changes, then those new ideas get, fleshed out even deeper and deeper and deeper at the business conference. So you're going to have a lot of chance to hear from a lot of good people and meet a lot of good people. I'm really thankful for our sponsors and people who have invested in the conference, and they make all the difference in the world. That's one of the reasons why we can keep that price so low for as many people who want to come through. And many of you who have watched the show and talked about the show over the years and commented about the show, you've been helpful in helping me craft different ideas and different thoughts. Speaking of, if you have a question about today's topic, put that question in the chat. Today we're talking about listening and why listening is important. And any issues that you may have in listening, any issues that you may have, go and put that information in the chat. We'll try to answer your questions or add to your comment, or even post your comment if we think if it's a good one. We're going to keep this party going. Okay, let's talk about it. Listening up. This is the first step of the 9-step process. This is the first step of developing your professional relationships, is really, really learning how to listen. And it's a part of the series of being known, of knowing others and being known by others. It is imperative, whether you care more about being known or you care more about understanding others, that you listen. And I say listen up. I don't mean just listening to anybody, everybody. I mean listen to those people who you know for a fact could empower you in your business in some way. If you're listening to people who could potentially fund you at a large level, these are people that you should be listening to. These are people that you really should be listening to. If you're listening to people who could support you in some way by buying the big ticket items that you have for sale, those are the things, those people that you really should be listening to. If you're listening to people who can shore you up on things that maybe you're not so good at, maybe you're good at marketing but not so good at sales, and maybe you're good at accounting but not so good at human resources, and maybe you're good at human resources but not so good at operational details for your business, you need to be listening to people who are strong in those areas that you're not good at, and determining whether or not these people should be people that you want to add to your network, these people that you want to add to your inner circle. Because there's listening, and there's listening for a reason, right? If you're listening for the reason of determining whether a person might be a potential candidate for belonging to your inner circle, and I'm talking about the people that you're willing to spend hours with over the next series of years or months, to work in collaboration with, to work in cooperation with, in order to move the needle forward for your business, and also being willing to help them move the needle forward for whatever agendas they have in their lives. These are people that you're going to be, that for a fact you're going to love working for, working with, enjoying being a part of their lives. You're not just listening to anybody, everybody who has power, so to speak, or somebody who has a network, or somebody who has you want to do your homework and really determine who are you attracted to, and for the reasons that you are attracted to them is what really, really matters. Now, I would suggest that you learn a lot from your personal relationships, right? How have you used attraction in the past to create what you need to create in terms of relationship? You're going to use those same muscles in professional relationships, but you're going to use them in a different way, right? Because all human relationships kind of function along the same linear process. There's an attraction first, right? There's a mute and there's attraction, either one or both attractions, right? But at some part during that attraction phase, there becomes a mutual interest. And where there's a mutual interest, now we have something to talk about in terms of what we might do to collaborate and close the deal, to make that interest come to fruition, whether that's in terms of what we want out of a connection or a opportunity to relate to one another. And that's how human beings react, and that's how human beings relate. And this hasn't been different for centuries. It won't be different for centuries. And so let's take advantage of what we already know about what it takes to create human relationships. Right up front, people love to be understood. It is super, super important. If you're going to select someone that you may want to work with in the future, that you take the time to understand them, not just what they're selling, but who they are. Now, I created a system called the True Voice System, which is basically a cheat sheet to teach people how to ask the right questions to one another so they will begin to quickly get to know what's most valuable to them, their vision for their life, the opportunities and obstacles that are in front of them, what their intuition and instinct might be telling them, the commitments they've already made that they need to make sure that they nurture those commitments or new commitments they need to be making, and finally, what environmental things should they pay attention to make sure that they don't fall afoul of anything, right? If you can get people to start talking about these things, their voice, what they want to say in the universe, what they want to be, what they want to represent about themselves in the spaces and their mission in life and what they're trying to accomplish, you get them to start talking about that. They're probably talking about things that they rarely ever get a chance to talk about with people. Because usually when we're talking to one another, especially in a networking situation, somebody's looking for some type of transaction, right? We're looking for a new job. We're looking to sell a product or a service. We're looking to advance our career to a certain specific thing that we're trying to get to. We're looking to, negotiate the next deal or whatever it is. But that's a different type of strategy that I want you to think about when it comes to identifying who might be on your advisory council, right? Who might be your personal and professional advisory council? Who might be the people that you need to surround yourself with that's going to lift you from where you are now and help you get to the place where you need to get? They're not all going to do the work for you, all right? But they're going to they might introduce you to the right people. They might fund your process. They might find ways to create more energy in the direction that you wanted to go to help you do things. And it's a magical process when it happens. But how do you get there? You get there by first listening. You have to listen first. You have to get them talking about the things that are valuable to them. When you do that exceptionally well, you're going to find that people feel understood. The best way to verify this is when you're in conversation with someone and you're basically reporting in. So what I hear you say is this, and why that's relevant and meaningful is this. Did I get that right? Do I understand this correctly? Doing that process, that's what we call, that type of listening and questioning about your listening helps that person feel like, one, you're interested in what they're saying, right? And you get them. This is super, super important. It crosses all cultural boundaries. It crosses every potential hesitancy, all doubts, fears, blame, shame, all that negative stuff that we tend to bring to the table falls away when people feel understood. When people feel understood, all the good chemicals start to happen in their brain. The dopamine starts to happen. All of the wonderful things we learn in NLP, right? We're the neuro-linguistic programming. People start to really, really feel one another and start to really connect to one another in a deeper, more meaningful way. And when you bypass all the superficial stuff, when you're having what I call meaningful conversation with people, you're not talking about the football game. You're not talking about the weather. You're not wasting your time talking about anything other than the most meaningful, valuable things in their lives. Yes, you can use some icebreakers, like, remember the acronym FORM, right? Which stands for family, occupation, recreation, and what is that? M's that money. All right. Yeah. You can talk about those things, but try to make sure you're getting to the meat of what really matters to them, more so than just the trappings of subtle conversation. You want to take it from small talk to big talk. You want to get there fast because it shows a person that you're truly interested in them when you're talking about the things that they're interested in. We're talking about the things that interest them most. And the thing that generally interests most of us is us. And when we get to express our thoughts, our ideas, our values with other people, and they are accepted by other people, you don't have to believe in me. You don't have to agree with me, but you do need to hear me out if you want me to ever ask you the question, well, tell me more about you. Why are you here today? What are your hopes and dreams? What are you hoping to get out of this moment? How do you feel that this moment can help prepare you for something that you're trying to do? Who can I introduce you to here? And why would that introduction, what would that introduction mean to you? Can I help you find somebody or something that you're interested in? And what would that be? You know, being able to answer those questions, and I would suggest for those of you who haven't already, do the true voice assessment for yourself. Before you start going, I'm going to interview 1,000 people and I'm going to do this. I've done thousands of true voice interviews with people over the years, and it has helped me listen to them. All it really does, it's a cheat sheet or template or a opportunity for me to open myself up to what someone else is saying, and open me up to the ability to listen to somebody in a deeper, meaningful way than the superficial stuff that we would naturally talk about. You know, even old friends, you know, we get together and, you know, it's awkward because we got to get back into the rhythm of communicating. If we're communicating from the true voice point of view, guess what? Then we slide right back into the love we used to have for one another in ways we may have never done before. I find out, and I encourage you to do this too. This is just people that you know that you should be closer with professionally than you are. Go try the true voice relationship with them. Go try the true voice interview with them. Try to talk to them about those things. And if you don't have a copy of True Voice, you'd like to have a copy of True Voice. If you're watching me, then you hit me up on text message. You see my numbers scrolling across the screen, or hit me up on instant message, and I'll send it to you for free. But if you don't ask me for it, I'm not going to send it to you. But I promise you, this asks the right kinds of questions that help people open up to one another and help people see value in one another. And here's the truth. When you listen to someone so well that they go, oh my God, I feel like I've been hogging all the time and I don't know anything about you. Tell me about you. And then you go, not good. That's why I suggest that you do the true voice interview on yourself, because you need to have already written, already practiced and well-rehearsed responses to all the true voice questions. When people ask you who you are, what you're all about, what your values are, what you're trying to get to in life, who you are, you can answer them authentically with something that is meaningful, and it actually gives them something that inspires them and may make them go, you know what, I can help you with that. Now, a lot of times people are afraid to listen to other people for a lot of reasons. Sometimes they're afraid to listen because they feel like they might get sucked in to something else, somebody else's world, somebody else's vision. They might be, they don't have time to really pay attention to someone else's agenda because their agenda is so big. And I will tell you this, it's so important that you strategically listen to the people who you should listen to, right? Don't just listen to anybody. Don't give this kind of effort and energy to anybody and everybody. You literally don't have the time or the capacity to do this, because when you are, and I know a lot of people go, well, I gotta love everybody, gotta respect everybody. And my answer to that is yes, and you also have to give the proper amount of love, attention, and respect to those who not only deserve it, but those who you desire to be in a close relationship with. Sometimes, some people, it's time to cut people loose, and you got to cut them loose. But my girl, my girl, Nancy has this to say. When you ask yourself the true voice questions, you may find it helps you to get clarity about your values, needs, desires, and goals. A good exercise for those who are feeling fuzzy about what they want or need. It is so true, Nancy. Thank you so much for that endorsement. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you sharing that. And Nancy's like one of the just my greatest supporters. I love her dearly. I'll do whatever she asks me to do because of that, right? So super, super important, because I know, just like I'm telling you guys, there are people who have listened to you over the years, and they've actually paid attention to the things that you're saying. They're actually doing what, or showing that what you're saying and what you're talking about has value. I'm giving you that feedback that it's valuable, right? That's so special. People who do that are people that, you feel comfortable supporting in any way that you possibly can, because you know that you know their character. That's the point. You know their character. Now, next week, we're going to get into what you need to be saying, right? But this week, I want you to really, really focus on who you should be listening to. You should already have done your homework and have a top 10 list of people that you know for a fact could support you completely. Now, and when I say support you completely, I don't mean support you completely as in all levels of support you need. I mean support you in one level, like somebody who can finance your total operation if they so choose to, and partner with you in that way. That person, there's a person that needs to make it on the list. All right, not just because they can finance you, but also because you like them, also because you're interested in them, also because something about them already has you at a high level of high regard and respect for them. And if you don't have high regard and respect for them, you probably need to get to know them a little bit more so that you will have high regard and respect for them, right? So super, super important, right? But there's people also who can, again, like I said earlier, pick up the point in your life where you might be weak, right? You need people like that in your network as well. And, again, same thing. They have to have the same criteria. You have to have something about them that you have to know, like, and trust. There's something about them that you have to have some level of connection, and not just their skill or their talent, but something about them and their character that attracts you to them. Because you're not going to want to have people in your network who you can't stand, even if they're talented, even if they're skilled. You don't want people in your network that give you a headache or cause you anxiety or, create more stress instead of harmony and balance, right? If you have a person like that in your network, they're going to be cancer to you. You don't ask a person to come in just because they have power or they have connections or they have relationships. You better find something about them that endears you to them, that helps you, really, really appreciate them. And if you can't appreciate them enough to invite them into your network, then you're going to basically have a transactional relationship with them. And that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a real relationship. We're looking for a relationship that goes beyond the transactions, right? Yes, the transactions are important to move life forward. I agree 100%. I know people are like, well, I got to sell something, or I got to buy something, or I got to do something. Yes, action is important, and those actions that help us economically are vitally important. However, relationships can't be built on transaction. They can be started with a transaction, but ultimately you're going to have to know more about a person than their skills and their talent or whatever product or service they have to offer you. And you've got to be willing to go deeper with the individual. You've got to practice a lot of, I'm looking for my book over here, a lot of what I've learned. Here it is. I learned this from Danny Goleman. This is about emotional intelligence, right? He's the father of what we call emotional intelligence right now. And he's probably done the most research and the most work on the topic. I will tell you that it's so important that you learn how to listen and how to be empathetic, not just to the pain and the suffering that other people have, but empathetic to the opportunities that they're presenting in their lives and they're trying to stretch and reach and move themselves towards. So people who are reaching and moving towards stuff are often exciting people when you get to know them, because they're really right there. It's really impressive what they're doing and how they're growing and what their intentions could be, and if they had the right help and support, they probably could get to where they're trying to go a lot faster. And maybe you're part of that help and support. Maybe you know somebody who's part of that help and support, but you can't get there until you listen to them. Now, why should we listen? I told you earlier that this is the major part of knowing, right? The things that you listen to, the people you listen to, the reasons you listen to them, all help you to know. It helps you to know them, and then it helps in the reciprocity matter for them to turn that same listening back onto you and feel more open, because now that you paid attention to them and you've listened to them, they're going to feel more open to listening to you, to paying attention to you. Now, when a powerful person pays attention to you, they're recognizing you and accepting you for who you are and looking for opportunities to help. Let me say again, when a powerful person, somebody that you've selected, that you already know can provide something for you, when they listen to you, you need to be able to say something that they can do, and they know what they can do. And let me just be clear about this. When people feel like they can help each other and that help will be appreciated, they are naturally compelled to move in that direction. If you ask me, let me rephrase this. If you ask me to do for you something that I am already good at, something that I love doing, something that I'm so brilliant at, it's like asking Michael Jackson to sing a song. Of course he's going to be amazing. And he's gonna, and if you look at him, if you don't get involved, if he's singing to you, and if you ask Michael Jackson to sing a song, Michael Jackson just came up with something off the top of the head, and you don't like it, we got a problem. Because you don't know how to appreciate the delivery and the mastery that someone else has just demonstrated for you, right? So it's super, super, super important, and I want you to get this. If somebody shows up for you, if you've been able to talk them into paying enough attention to you that they are naturally compelled to show up for you, you better really, really show the appreciation. You better really, really show the gratitude and be thankful for it. It's not time to be humble. It's not time to go, I don't know how to receive, I don't know how to get back. There are people out there, and I get that. There are people out there who are like this, so busy giving that they don't know how to receive. But you need to practice that. You need to get yourself set up for the reception, right? You need to know how to catch the ball. Really, think about it as your opportunity to get a touchdown with a person, right? So it's the same principle, right? You got to know how to get to the point where that reception can be magical, and then you have to make the catch, and you got to go ahead and run that touchdown. And that means in this world, receive what they have to say, be grateful for what they have to say, appreciate what they have to say, and do it in a way that they can feel it. Because I've said this to you many times before, all of us are looking for our MRS degree, right? All of us want to be meaningful, relevant, and significant in everything we do in our lives. Nobody wants to be accidentally successful. We want to be successful, and we want to be happy, and we want to deliver positivity and all that kind of good stuff in the universe. But it's always good when, this could be something that I can do. I can control this. I know that I can do something relevant and meaningful right now, and it's a great thing, right? So again, if you ask me to do something I'm already good at because you've listened to me and you figured out what I'm already good at, what I'm already passionate about, and you ask me to move in that direction, and that's going to help you somehow, cool bonus. I'm already doing what I'm good at, and you're going to appreciate what I have to share with you immediately. Now, I might not do the work for you because that might cost some money. I may have to really, really think about that. But I'm going to be compelled to help you, even if you can't afford my help. I'm going to be compelled to help you in some way, at least move you in the right direction. Because if it's not moving in the right direction, then I think that Nancy, I'm sorry, I got a message for you that's throwing me off. I get that the feed kind of stopped. I hope it kicked back in, because I don't see anything on my end that would suggest that it's not working properly. So I'm gonna have to assume that it is. Yeah, I don't see anything that's moving in the wrong direction. Everything seems to be on up and up. Okay, so I'm assuming that it's back. But thank you for the feedback that you lost me for a second there. I don't have a timer on my end, so I can't tell you, where I am in the recording or anything like that. I can tell you that I'm 38 minutes in, but I don't know about 3:29 or 3:45 or whatever that is. So anyhow, but thank you for the feedback. Hopefully that's been worked out. When I go back and watch the recording, hopefully it won't be as bad as we both think it is. Okay, so having said, where was I? When you're talking about learning how to listen, there are a couple of key things I want you to remember. And if you could take a look at the illustration that I shared with you at the top of the hour. Let me see if I can't find it on my computer here. This is gonna be a problem. And move the camera down, pull it up, and then move the camera back. There we go. Hopefully I move the camera back in the right spot. But I want to find, that's not even what I'm looking for, Marvin. That's what I'm looking for right there. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this link to the 9 steps and share it with you guys once again, just in case for those of you who aren't able to get it earlier in the stream, you can get it right here, right now. All right, so if you open that document up, what you're gonna see right up front is you're gonna see an illustration. And then that illustration is going to show you literally what the 9-step process is, right? That's the whole 9-step process. And beginning with listening, right? Down at the bottom, that green box down at the bottom, listen up. And I mean listen up, listen to not just listen to people who are powerful, but really, really listen. Really, really do what you need to do to actively engage with them. Ask those engaging questions. Get yourself in a situation where they know that you hear them and you understand them, right? This is how you attract industry market makers. This is how you create valuable professional relationships. When you do this well, everything works the way it's supposed to work. And nobody can accuse you of not paying attention, not really hearing them, because you've done all of the reflective listening processes you need to do. I'm going to give you a couple quotes, and then we're going to hopefully chat it up about some of the exercises that are here. What I love most about these quotes is that these quotes kind of put in perspective your reason for listening, and it also puts in perspective how we as human beings quite naturally function, right? David Thoreau says, or Henry David Thoreau said, the greatest compliment that was ever paid me was when one asked me what I thought and then attended to my answer, right? When you ask people questions, you're giving them permission to show up. And when you pay attention, you're really, really locking in for them that they are important in this moment to you. That's the magic spice, right? That's the magic sauce of everything when it comes to professional and personal relationships, is letting a person know without a shadow of a doubt, you have my attention. So be there, take notes, be open, ask questions, go deeper. If they told you something, share something that's kind of vague and unclear to you, no, don't say that's vague and unclear. Say, what do you mean? Ask them, what do you mean by that? I don't quite understand where you're going with this. Could you take me to maybe a different perspective on this, and maybe it'll be a little more clear to me. And then when it is clear to you, you give them that feedback. So what I hear you saying is blah 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 blah. What that really means is da 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 da. Is that, did I get it right? Did I get it? You want to get that feedback to them, and you want to get the feedback back from them. You get it. Because when they get that feeling that you understand them, that's all that really matters in terms of creating what you need to create the environment to build on that relationship, to create the next level of that relationship, which we're going to talk about next week. But I want you to begin understanding that it's your job as a networker, first and foremost, to begin the process of listening. Dr. Wilson Meisner says, a good listener is not only popular everywhere, but after a while, he gets to know something. How do you know what you haven't paid attention to, what you haven't listened to, right? Listening is a demonstration of knowledge gathering. It is a demonstration of your willingness to take in new things from different people, new ideas, new concepts from different people. It is, and as a networker, you need to be open to new people, new ideas, new thoughts, not just the ones that you developed over these years and you're stuck in. How are you going to get again from here to there if you don't get new people, new information, new thoughts, new ideas? You might have great ones. I'm not saying yours are irrelevant or not smart, but I'm saying add to those thoughts maybe some new things that could open you up in a different direction. But you got to be willing to listen in order to get there, right? Stephen Covey says, and this is my favorite, I'm a Coveyite. If you ever, cut me or bleed, I bleed Dr. Covey, right? So super, super important that you do this exactly as he said it. Seek first, understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. There's a sequence there and a rhythm there. You can't be whining and complaining about nobody understands you all the time. You have to be willing to understand others. And if you do this well enough, they're going to want to understand you back. And guess what? People complain about this all the time. Well, I'm so busy listening to other people. I'm so busy hearing other people, but nobody seems to be listening to me. I hear that yip yang all the time. And I tell people, did you ask them for their attention? Now, what do you mean? Did you say to them after they have said to you, yes, you truly get me, and they didn't ask you anything about you, did you say to them, listen, I've got some ideas that I would love to share with you. I'm glad we're getting along. I'm glad things are seeming to be clicking and we're moving in the right direction. I really understand where you're coming from. And I got some ideas I'd like to share with you. Would you mind if we sat and talk about that at some point in the future? You have already done your part in the relationship by just paying attention to them. All you're asking them for in return is for them to pay attention to you. That is something that you have the right to ask for. You have the social right to ask for it. You have the emotional right to ask for it. You have the psychological right to ask for it. There is no reason for you not to get what you need out of anybody that you have poured into when it comes to attention, right? All we're asking for is attention. I paid attention to you. Now could you pay attention to me? Or do I need to pay attention to you some more? This is reciprocity in action, and it's okay for you to pump or prime the pump, so to speak, and begin to go out and get the attention that you need, specifically from the people who you know for a fact can make a tremendous difference in your life or in your business. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, because if you don't learn to listen up to people who could make a big difference in your life, right? And you don't ingratiate yourself to them in a way that it's indicative that you are actually paying attention to them, then you don't get to ask for their attention in return. You have no claim to their attention because you haven't given attention, right? You need to invest attention in order to have a claim to attention. That's why fans are let down when they can't get their favorite star's autograph, right? Because they've made an investment in that person. They have gone to see their movies. They're going to, read their books or going to see their lectures or attended their workshops or going to see them in performance and so on and so forth and paid for a ticket, right? And brave the elements and all that kind of stuff. And you can't even get an autograph or an attaboy or a thank you or a selfie, a shot, a picture, whatever you're trying to do. That's something that is, it's sort of like a contract with your fans. If you're a celebrity, your contract with your fans says that you're not going to ignore your fans, even if it's your personal private time. That's why they have walls. That's why they have, closed off communities where people can't get to or whatever that is. Now, I'm not saying you got to be nice to every piece of every paparazzi that pops up in your face or invade your privacy and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you really don't need to be the one that's rude to the wrong fan. It could be a kid who's a parent who's like, this is your favorite person. All you need is a picture with them, and you say no. You gonna crush that kid like that? Is that what you're gonna do? Man, I gotta ask about your character. At this point, you know, we got to ask about your character, because you're a famous person. You're a star. You did this intentionally. You didn't you weren't thrown on the stage and go, you better sing. No. You went out there, you practiced, you rehearsed, you put your effort in, and you wanted this love, and now you got it. You have to be able to receive it and take it and give it back. That's the law of reciprocity. It just has to happen in that way. It's the same thing for you and I. When you're networking, you're out there and out and about, you see people do something amazing, say something amazing, you know, share something amazing, then guess what? You need to tell them. So I wrote 2 programs that can help with this in this relationship stuff, and I will mention them again and again. One is True Voice. The other is the RAP approach. The RAP approach is an acronym. Again, I love acronyms, right? This one stands for respect, affection, and praise. And we find that if you listen to somebody, right, it's like giving them respect, right? It's like showing deeper intention and affection for them. Right? When you give them that feedback and you tell them, especially when you have something good to say about what they just shared with you, that's praise, right? That helps them feel good about themselves. That helps them feel like what they're doing is meaningful, what they're doing is relevant, who they are, it is significant. I can't stress that enough, how important it is. So if you got a chance and you want to read the RAP report, a RAP approach, I think I have an article on LinkedIn about the RAP approach. You probably can Google it or not Google it, but use the search engine on LinkedIn and get right to that article, or go to my articles and look through all of my articles on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to find it. So if you seriously want to know how to use the RAP approach, I suggest that you read that article. And if you give me some feedback on that article, once you read it, I kind of owe you, don't I? So think about it. You know, maybe you've noticed that I have some talents or some skills. Maybe you found a little article and you gave me some feedback. I'm going to know that you gave me that feedback. I'm going to know that it hit, because it's going to show up on I'm going to get an immediate email that somebody read my article on the RAP report, the RAP approach, and decided that it was wonderful, and they were excited to share it with their friends, or they had something positive to say about it. And I'm going to pay more attention to that person, because that person is paying more attention to me. You see how this works? Now, I could give you many examples of how I've used this in the past to really, really break open and create new relationships for myself, or to deepen relationships that I already have that I didn't even know that I should deepen, but I was practicing, you know, the True Voice interview process. And all of a sudden, new opportunities came to fruition that would not have come to fruition had I not paid attention. So just think about it. Again, all the tools that I teach you, use them for good, because they can be used to manipulate people. I don't want you to manipulate people. I want you to influence people, influence them positively. Use the gifts and the tools that I have to give you, to share with you. Use them for the greater good. Please do not use them for anything notorious or nefarious, because that good karma is not going to follow that. Well, my good karma, I don't want you to use it for bad. That's all I'm saying. All right. God bless you. Had a great time. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to keep the party moving and close the party down. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. This is Coffee Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell. Please share this. Please subscribe, whether you find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you found us. And please don't keep us a secret, because we can do more with more. Love you guys. Bye-bye.